everyone, it's Nicole Noasad here today for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. Today I'm going to show you how you can incorporate stamping and die cutting into your scrapbook projects very easily. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have some die cut tags here, and I'm going to add some texture to the background using some texture stamps here from Close to My Heart. All the products I'm using today are by Close to My Heart. So I really like this large, bold stamp, and I have some mint green ink here, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that pattern onto the background of the tag. And you can see that it has a nice kind of distressed look, and it's just going to add a little bit of texture and color to that tag. What I love about this is if you're not a really expert at mix the media items, you can definitely use a stamp set like this to add your own mixed media feel to elements like these tags. I'm going to do the same thing here with a neutral gray color. I'm just going to use that exact same stamp, and you'll see that I get a bit of a different look just by moving the stamp to a different area of the tag. You can get a different kind of look. So you don't need to have a whole bunch of different stamps to do this. One stamp can give you many different feels and looks on a tag. So that's the first way we are going to incorporate some stamping onto our project. So I'm just going to clean this up really quickly and set this aside and move on to the next thing. So I want to just get kind of the base of my layout started, and then I'm going to add some more stamp and die cut elements into it. So I have here those 3 tags that I've stamped, and I know I want to add some more stamped embellishments. So I love this little holly and berries set from Close to My Heart. So I'm just going to stamp a few of these onto some plain smooth cardstock with that emerald green ink and candy apple red ink from Close to My Heart. And then I'm going to go ahead, and because this stamp set comes with a coordinated die, I'm actually just going to stamp the holly shapes first. Then I'm going to use the little die that comes in that set, and I'm going to die cut that out. And then I'm going to fill that in with the candy apple red ink to stamp in those berries. So really quick, just running these through my die cut machine. You can see it lines up really nice with the stamped image. And I like to always do 1 or 2 extras when I do something like this, just in case I do the stamping not great. I'm not a super big expert in stamping. So to me, I just want to make sure I have a little bit extra. And you can see these create fun little elements that I'm going to put on my page later on. And so fast and easy to do too. Okay, so I have those set aside. Now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of think about how I want to plan my page. I have this really great collection kit, this super fun, bright patterned collection kit from Close to My Heart. And so I'm just going to pick a few different patterned papers. I think I want to use this one here for my background instead of that scallopy one. I kind of like this wintry kind of plaid. So I'm going to use that instead, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab some white cardstock just to kind of balance out some of that pattern. So I'm just going to measure how much I need based on the width of my photos that I've printed here and place that kind of where I want them. Right now I'm not sticking anything down until I kind of have a bit more of an idea what I want to do. I do want to add a little more green onto this, and same with this blue that's in this collection kit. So I'm just going to rip off a piece of this snowflake paper and add a strip of this green polka dot right to it, just to get a few more colored elements into my page. Okay, so I kind of have an idea where I want to place everything, so I'm going to stick down the adhesive onto my cardstock. And I'm going to commit myself to that plaid paper, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and just start sticking things down. And so that's kind of where I want to have my photos on my page, and I know I have my tags that I want to put beside it. And I want to have some more die cut options on here. So I love this kind of stitched scallop die that comes by Close to My Heart. And so I'm just going to run a couple layers of pattern paper through with that die through my manual die cut machine. And I decided to do the same with that snowflake blue that I've already used. So I have 3 kind of little die cut shapes that we're going to use that coordinate a little bit with the same colors that I stamped on those tags. I'm going to punch some white circles out and adhere them down onto the front of the circles here that I've die cut with the die cut paper, the pattern paper. But you'll see later on that I don't actually end up sticking with that. I just felt like it was really taking away from the bright color on the page. And so I will rip those off later and take off the white cardstock. So I am going to stick them down now, but they're coming off later. Okay, so the next thing I want to do after I get that white cardstock on the page is just kind of getting everything adhered a little bit better. So again, don't pay too much attention to my white cardstock circles. So I have my holly shapes here. I thought about layering them together and maybe sewing them together to make them a little more dimensional. You could definitely do that, but I passed on this time. I'm still going to use foam adhesive though to stick them down. You'll see that later on. I do want to use these letter stickers that come in this collection kit, and I'm going to do that to add my title onto my page. And I'm going to use foam adhesive to stick down, not all of them as I first intended, but just that little pink snowflake circle for the O in holidays. So I am going to stick kind of the stickers as they are, because you kind of have to stick stickers as they go. These are really good though, because if you just gently place them down but don't push really hard, you will have the ability to kind of move them around as long as you're gentle. So you'll see that I do that right now just by moving them down a little bit farther onto my page. And I'm just sticking them down just enough to hold and not really pressing the whole surface. So that's why I'm able to kind of move things a little bit. Once you get them in place where you want them, then if you just rub over the whole surface, it will adhere them a little more securely in place. So you can see I'm just using a bit of an edge of one of my tags just to make sure everything is even and straight. And so I'm just lining that up with other items on my page. So that's where my title is going to start. I decided to stick my photos down using foam adhesive. And I'm just going to overlap them ever so slightly from that white cardstock onto the pattern background. And now I've decided that is where I'm going to put my tags. So I'm just going to stagger the tags slightly. You can see I have the gray, then with that pinky peach color, as well as the mint green. I have them just kind of staggered and not in a straight line. So now is when I'm going to take that white cardstock off those die cut circles, and I'm gonna pop dot those, and I'm gonna put them onto my project. I'm not gonna put the green on the green and the blue on the blue and the red on the pink. I just wanted to have a variation of those three colors that I'm using on this project, so I am gonna stagger those throughout the page. And what I'm trying to do with the color in the project is really just kind of make sure I don't have clusters of one sort of color. So I am going to switch things up a few times. You can see I have the blue at the top and the red there at the bottom. And then I've decided that there's too much red there down on the bottom with that D in the holidays. So I end up switching those around a little bit, and you'll see I just move the red and the blue ones. I switch them up so that there's a bit of a more staggered kind of approach, which does mean that my pink is on top of or underneath my red, but I'm kind of okay with that. So I'm just going to stick those here on my page, and here's where I'm going to start adding some elements to the project. So I have those hollies and berries that I've stamped out and die cut. So I'm going to add that, and then I'm going to add that sticker for the O in the title. And then I've decided I'm going to use some of the stickers to embellish the die cut circles. So I have this fun present shape. I'm going to add that to the top circle there where the green is. I'm just going to use foam adhesive to stick that down just so it looks a little more dimensional. And then I have these fun stickers that are trees on that die cut sheet. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add foam adhesive to the smaller tree and just let the larger tree stick on its own like a sticker. So I'm going to add a little of that foam adhesive also to the back of that holly and put that down and around the bottom of my title area. And I will add a second one, or a third one, I guess, up in the top kind of corner of my page later on. So in this stamp set, I'm choosing two different stamp sets. The one that has the holly and berries has this really fun set of different little pattern stamps. So I'm using this plus sign with a bit of a... And now I have just a few more label stickers I want to add beside my photos. That's going to add in a little bit more color, as well as fill in the empty gaps here beside the photo that I had. And now I want to add just a few more dimensional elements. So one more holly will go up in that top corner, kind of to fill in that corner of the photo. And I really wanted to use this candy cane stripe sticker. And so I'm going to use that just over top of that green dot just to add a little bit more pattern. So I have these really fun enamel dots too that I'm going to add to use dimension onto the Christmas trees here, as well as onto the package. Just add some dots onto that pattern that's on the package. And I am going to put a few just around the page, and then I'm going to add in some itty bitty sparkles just in around some of those stamped black areas, as well as in the center of the O in holidays. You can see here I've added some buttons to the project. I've added some matte finished black dots, and I've actually added in a sticker title to the rest of my page just to fill in that gap. And I really like how this one came together. You can add a lot of dimension just with some stamps and some die cuts. I hope you've enjoyed this Designed With video, and I'll see you again in the new year. Bye-bye.